This podcast provides a platform that will share many different points of views that should empower you, uplift you, make you want to go out and do right. When you hear the term still a man, say, yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Still a man. Yes, I am. Let's go.
What's up, people? Welcome to another episode of the Still a Man podcast. Tonight's topic, qualified immunity. Okay, so what if I told y'all there was a law that was created but wasn't really a law? That is something that came about due to members of I believe it is Supreme Court Justice. And during a case where there was some wrongdoing that was done to clergymen, both white and black, one of the court justices, the judges, decided that he was going to set precedents and he was going to put some legal principles in effect. And he decided that these police officers was going to be basically guilt-free and removed from any wrongdoing that they may or may have not done to the clergymen. And this came about in 1967. Then, after that, I believe in 1982, there was another case that occurred, and I believe that's when they just started referring to it more so. It became like, so let's say the machinations of these potentially racist judges became the indoctrinations of the legal system. So it started out as something that wasn't, and it simply came into effect because somebody decided, we're going to make an exception, we're going to make a suggestion, and this is going to be best practice. So that's just a little background, the origin of qualified immunity. And don't take my word for it. When you get a chance, you can go do the research, and they give you a lot of information, so you can have an in-depth discussion with those after. And if you find out something or you feel the need to look it up now, you can go ahead. You can go ahead and put it in the chat. All right, guys. Quick rules, y'all know the rules. Let the people answer the questions that are being asked. Don't present a secondary question. Let them answer the first question. And people mute your phones when you're not being called upon, just so we don't get no background disruptions. All right, and again, if you feel the need to give your rebuttal or refute what is being said, then put it in the chat if you can't wait until you're called upon. All right, Sean, can you give us like a formal definition for qualified immunity and federal immunity?
Qualified immunity is a type of legal immunity that protects a government official from lawsuits alleging that the official violated a plaintiff's right.
Okay.
And the other one you said federal, correct?
Yes.
Hold on, sorry, got it right here. Federal immunity generally refers to legal protection that exempts a person from liability, punishment, or legal action that would otherwise apply. th- Um, that otherwise apply. This type of immunity protects a witness from being prosecuted for their testimony in a criminal case.
Okay. And would you guys believe that there is another, and I don't know if this is just another way to say federal immunity, but I also heard something called absolute immunity, and this is something that's given to the president, judges, and political officials. So,
Diplomatic immunity.
I have that definition if you want it.
yes, you can give us that one as well.
Absolute immunity in the law means a person is shielded from legal liability for their action, regardless of how those actions may be perceived or the harm they cause. This immunity typically applies to specific roles like judges and prosecutors, allowing them to perform their duties without fear of personal lawsuits.
Woo! So we got a lot to deal with, people. All right. So America's beloved president, we're talking about Donald Trump, has become synonymous with the police force and trouble. So would you believe that the would-be king was having a tantrum? He was taking a tantrum, as they say, and he was talking about the restoration of Alcatraz. And he was talking about how it was such a beautiful, strong structure, but it had weaknesses as well. And he was telling how this was something that was needed, and we need to make a return to this beautiful structure because no one ever escaped from it.
Yeah, wasn't that a prison for the worst of the worst?
Let me finish.
Yep.
And the one person that attempted to escape said prison died. They never found the body. They just found the clothing, and the clothing was supposedly ripped to shred. So that's what our beloved president has been talking about, as well as the executive order to give police officers federal immunity. So we're going to take it a step past qualified immunity and go straight to federal immunity. But I'm going to caution you guys, and I'm going to go ahead and say this. Anytime when we're dealing with President Donald Trump, it's usually something that he supposedly said, and then people clean it up and say what he really meant was this. So I'm just going to go ahead and forewarn you guys. He might have said federal immunity, but based upon Sean's definitions, the formal definitions of all those forms of immunity, he may be in fact referring to absolute immunity for police officers. So stay tuned. All right, let's get to it. First question is, do you respect police officers? Ladies, hold tight. Some method to my madness. I want to go to the gentlemen first because they are usually the ones that are affected more so by the misbehavior of police officers. All right, we got Timmy, we got Sean, we got Bird, we got Gregory, and we got Robert. Let's go to Bird first. Bird, do you respect police officers?
Yeah, I respect what they do. I expect them to protect and serve me. I expect them to know how to de-escalate and handle a situation appropriately, how you were trained. Then I definitely 100% respect police. The ones that do their job, the ones that are out here doing dirt, doing dirty, being dirty. No, fuck them. Excuse my language. Fuck the police.
I knew that was coming. Robert, same question.
Exactly the same as Bird. I respect the ones that really are out there trying to protect and serve and make a difference in the communities that really need their help. So yeah, I can respect the good police, and we ain't gonna talk on the dirty.
Okay, Gregory, same question. Do you respect police officers?
I'm gonna say it depends on the person, but in all actuality, I don't respect the system like that because I feel like the rules are written by somebody and we're just following suit. Once again, it's the pyramid scheme. They need people in control of certain things so they can have control over people, ultimately.
Okay. Sean, what do you say?
Yes, I respect the office of the police. I respect what they're supposed to represent. I respect what they're uh, been oath to do as far as being uh, um, officers over the law or enforcers over the governing laws.
I'm gonna go ahead and answer this too before we go to the ladies. Do I respect police officers? Uh, I respect those that respect me and mine. But as I stated on previous shows, those that take an oath to serve and protect are the first to represent any type of real threat. So that's where I stand, whereas that's concerned.
I think I don't have no problem with people doing their job. I have problems with civilians that know they doing wrong and going to sit up there and try to act like that the police is harassing them and they doing them wrong. No, you know you're doing wrong. You're gonna get called out on it, or you're gonna get cut for
Coonery.
your wrongdoing. So for me, I just see that the people who really do go through stuff with the police, their stuff is being overshadowed by some clown that claiming that the police did something to them and he was the aggressor. But those who that the police were the aggressor, their stories somehow get put brushed to the side because you got the people who don't really that the ones who really be doing stuff, they're the ones that's calling brutality and all that stuff. So it's like they can't differentiate from who's telling the truth, because you know criminals always jump on board of something that they can use to their advantage. So that's what I that's what I say about that. As far as you know, there are some outrageous cops out here, but not in the state of Massachusetts.
Okay.
Not in the state of Massachusetts.
All right, ladies, turn your mics on. Patsy, we're gonna go to you first. Do you respect police officers?
Um, um, I do respect them, but the ones that, like people are saying that not all police officers actually do their job and do it well. They got some um, shady schemes behind their method. So the ones that do their job and do it well and mean well, I respect them. I just don't respect the shady ones.
Okay. Tanya, what do you say?
I say that that's a really difficult question, but I'm going to answer it this way. I respect the police officers that do their job um, under the rule of law, that they expend it equally and fairly, um, without favoritism or racial indications. But those ones that are like everyone else says, that's got their own vendetta, that's policing by their beliefs or by their racism, and thinking that one deserves to be treated less than the other. I don't respect that.
I just wanted to add to my answer a little bit. It's hard to
Yeah,
respect them knowing that the
yeah,
police is
Whoopi
even this whole qualified immunity and immunity, it's all coming from a racial place. If you go back, you trace the steps, and you see that the Civil Rights Act, what's the Ku Klux Klan Act or whatever it was about these
Society comes
officials
from a
that
racist
was
place.
these officials was getting off on these cases where they were going around hanging black people and nobody was doing anything about it. So these people was basically fighting for their rights back then, and then it comes all the way back to now where we keep seeing this stuff going on stemming from these patrol people that obviously are coming from the Ku Klux Klan. Even if you do the history, it's all coming from that shit.
Okay. Again, did everyone get a chance to answer the first question? Anybody else want to give a rebuttal? All right, let's go to question number 2. Gregory, we're going to start with you. According to research, legal advocates believe that Donald Trump's plan to grant federal immunity for police officers will only embolden them to commit more acts of violence. What do you say? You believe them, you agree with them, or you disagree?
I disagree with them because it's a great time to even be talking about this. Did y'all see what happened with that father after the police just killed his son? And now they got to go to the body cam footage. So either which way, it's so much surveillance around and the body cam footage that we fought for police to wear. Why in the hell are we complaining about anything if we know they're really actually violating our civil rights and it's going to be caught on camera?
Okay. Bert, how about you?
I got lost with G's statement. What was the question?
According to research, legal advocates believe that Donald Trump's plan to grant police officers federal immunity will only cause them to commit more acts of violence. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree. It will cause more acts of violence, but it would still, I would hope, have to be justified. So regardless of what you do, like G said, those cameras are going to tell a story. And if that camera's not on, then there's reasonable doubt that something wasn't right. So hopefully, I mean,
You
if they have
get
it
me?
and it was a clean shoot, then you're going to have to get off clean. You're hired to use your gun. I don't get it. You're hired to shoot people, and then you shoot someone. It's like, ooh, I need help right now. I'm disturbed. Shut up. You got hired to shoot your gun, but you got hired to shoot your gun for the right reason. And if you do it and have to do it for the right reason because you were in imminent danger and the threat of your life was in danger, then I get it. Do your job, but it doesn't give you a right to pull out a gun and shoot someone in the car. A clean shoot is a clean shoot. A no good clean shoot will be justified with that body cam, like G said.
Okay. Robert?
Let's see. I say if Donald Trump has his way, might as well turn off the cameras.
And you're going to jail.
MAGA.
All right. Timmy, according to research, legal advocates believe that Donald Trump's plan to grant police officers federal immunity will just embolden them to commit more acts of violence. What do you say?
Well, you better believe that there is a black coalition military style that would go on. They're just like the Black Panthers, but these dudes are all ex-cops. They're ex-marine. They've been in every force of law enforcement. They are no joke. They got women in this shit. They got. I'm telling you.
Tanya has left the meeting.
Now, you seen them on when they came out on the damn the protesting with the where the protesters were being violated by the MAGAs, and these people came out. I forget the name, M something, but they're like a secret military that is about
They're
policing
militia.
communities and whatnot. And so if he tries that, and then you're gonna have civilians jumping in on the wagon to start their own little coalition to do things. And it's really gonna cause a lot of chaos and lootering and all that stuff. And he don't want that type of nonsense on his hands. So, I doubt very much he want that to happen. It'll be a civil war. He thinking that other countries laughing at his ass now. If we have a civil war, they gonna be laughing at him even more.
Sean, let's get your views.
Question again, please.
According to research, legal advocates believe that Donald Trump's plan to grant police officers federal immunity will embolden the police officers and they will only commit more acts of violence.
Well, to me, I agree with that. They're already emboldened to do so. Knowing that they have federal immunity
Tanya has joined the meeting.
will only make them react and do things the way that they want to do it, knowing that there's possibly no repercussions for what they've whatever acts they committed. To go back to what some of the panels said about the cameras and stuff like that, they're not worried about the cameras now. And so if they get immunity, what Donald Trump is trying to implement is, regardless to what the camera shows, as long as what they did was in the realm of doing their job, meaning that they're on the job and it's required, like Bird said, they're trained and licensed to shoot and kill. If they do that, then what that means is that it's going to be on the state to have to prosecute. It will no longer be a federal jurisdiction of going against the police officers. That's what that immunity for the police officers mean. That he's taking the authority out of the federal's hands and making the state have to prove whatever.
Same thing he's doing with abortions.
Huh?
Yes, sir. You are correct. That's what he's trying to do.
All right, ladies, let's get your perspective. Patsy, according to research, legal advocates believe that Donald Trump's plan to grant police officers federal immunity will only embolden them to commit more acts of violence. What do you say?
I agree with that. If they're going to be more egregious about doing the wrong thing for the wrong reasons, yeah. And they're not gonna, some of them are gonna turn off the camera while they're doing it, knowing that they're going to do some crappy behavior. And the ones that are really truly doing it to protect themselves, they're not thinking about that camera. They're thinking about that imminent danger. So you're truly in imminent danger that you're not even thinking twice about that camera being on or off. So, and someone who's just doing some crappy ass shit, they'll think twice about that camera. They possibly might turn it off just to uh, say they whatever they want to say without proof. But then the others they don't give a who either way, you know? Oh, okay, let's just keep it on and I'll say whatever to defend what the camera say.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay, Tanya, let's get your perspective.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. Just because Donald Trump, what he's trying to do, yes, I agree that it will cause more chaos. And some people said that I'm trying to give them federal federal immunity, and it goes back to the state. That's not going to stop him from arresting. Let's just say that if him giving them that immunity causes an all out assault between the people and the police, who they claim to be criminals, rapists, and all the sorts. That's not going to stop them from arresting those people federally and sending them to these concentration camps that he's trying to send. He's already disappearing people to go to El Salvador.
Concentration camp.
Can I finish my comment, please? That he's already disappearing people. That he said that Americans are going to be next. The criminals and bad people on America is going to be next to be sent to these concentration camps in El Salvador. That's why he's talking about reopening Alcatraz so he can send the people there. And there is no due process for no one. No one would get due process. So then there would be no rule of law. So it'll be a free for all going on. And you'll see people disappearing, walking down the street one day, and they just get snatched up because they're a suspect of a shooting of a police officer.
All right, nephew, you have a rebuttal or refute?
Oh no, I just didn't know they had concentration camps still. I thought that was a a humanity crime.
They got Guantanamo Bay in Cuba.
But that's not a concentration camp. That's a torture camp.
Same thing.
Yeah, same
No, it's not the
concentration camp.
same thing. They're not killing people.
You don't know that. This person is a
Exactly.
menace to society. He could be erased, and it is what it
And the
is.
people that go to that prison are the worst of the worst. Once again, are we okay with these criminals? These people that are raping people and human trafficking and all this crazy, setting up
According to
bombs.
who? How do we know that they're the worst of the worst if they don't have their time in court to prove that they aren't the worst of the
The
worst or they
people
are
that's
the
in
worst of the
Guantanamo
worst?
Bay.
We're talking about the
That's
people
Yeah.
being
I
vindicated.
was talking to Bird. He said that Guantanamo Bay, and I said, why are we talking about that? That's a torture camp. That's what I was talking about.
Because your quote unquote government can say that you are a menace and take you away and say that you have tattoos that are associated
If
with
I
the
have a
with
tattoo
a
that says
gang
MS-13,
and
I'm
you
one
are
of
the
those
criminal
people. The
mastermind
worst of the
of
worst.
this group and you are the worst of the worst. What can you
I don't
do?
have an MS-13 tattoo. Those people rape people to get
So
initiated into that gang.
let's say they say any tattoo with a B on it because you represent Boston. Now you're
Well, I
gang
hope those
affiliated
people
and
ain't raping
you are
people to
head
be
honcho
initiated.
in charge.
That's a total different level of criminalism.
But
I don't.
if you don't have no due process, if you don't have your time in court to prove your case, they can call you whatever they want to call you. They can put you wherever they want to put you, and that's what they're trying to do.
All right. So
I'm here.
let
You
me.
know I'm here.
Yeah, I know. You answered the question. Um. So before we go to number three, I'm going to answer question number two. Um. Yeah, I think that we have to become more mindful of what is taking place because this is like a magic trick. It's basically, I'm gonna show you the left hand, pay attention to the left hand, but so that you don't see what's going on with my right hand. And then I'll be able to perform the magic trick. But I'm gonna tell you guys this. Now, while I was doing my research, I came across a lot of videos. And Donald Trump's been championing the plight of police officers since his initial campaign for presidency. And during one of the let's say one of his campaigns, one of his press conferences, or one of his rallies, he stated, and this is gonna give y'all some clarity to what y'all was saying about if it's gonna be state or federal that's prosecuting them. It doesn't matter. According to Donald Trump, he's going to get them federal legal representation. That's the best that you can have. And as I stated earlier, I believe it's going to go beyond that. I think what he is really aiming for is he wants to give them what Sean read, the definition of absolute immunity. And I think that better suits what he's trying to do. All right, let's go to question number three. We're going to start with the ladies. Kiana, turn your mic on. I'm going to come to you first. Question number three. Are Black, brown, or white Americans more likely to be affected by this ruling or this executive order that grants police officers federal immunity?
Well, statistically speaking, black and brown cases are more, I don't know, let's say two people were brought up in on the same charges. You're, if you're black or brown, you're more likely to have more charges against you or higher charges brought up against you. and more likely to go to jail because of the prison pipeline system that they have. You know, they got to fill these places up with people. So um, that it will definitely affect Black and brown people more.
Okay. Patsy, what do you say?
I agree with Kiana. And Black and brown are going to be more affected because they're going to be looked at more by cops, especially by the white cops. We're like, okay, they look suspect, so let's go after them, as opposed to a white person.
Tanya, what do you say?
I'm going to say I agree with the ladies. And I'm also going to add, because in my view, the way that the administration is attacking the vulnerable, at some point you can add the disabled on that list of people being affected by it. And what I mean by that, when I say disabled, I'm saying mentally challenged, and that's what I mean by that, mentally challenged.
Yeah. Let's get the gentleman's perspective. Are Black, brown, or white Americans more likely to be affected by Donald Trump's plan to grant police officers federal immunity? Robert?
I'm going to say you're going to experience them stopping you out of nowhere. Get out the car. We got to search. Why? Because you're Black. Oh, damn. I didn't know that you can stop me because of the color of my skin. I don't have to tell you that, but that was my personal reason of stopping you. So we're going back in times. The white people will be just fine because sometimes when the police, and this is not a statement that someone should get offended by, but sometimes the police don't see white people. They're they're like white. They see dirt. That's the color of brown and colored people. So they notice dirt and they stop you more than they stop the white. White's kind of cleaner looking.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Sean, let's get your perspective.
Yeah, people of color will um, be the unfortunate group of people that are going to, be the subject or the target of what Donald Trump is trying to do. Um, I look at it as a whole that all of this is just trying to form a militia so that it's like just trying to put black people what he thinks, like what the whole MAGA thing stands for, make America great again, just trying to put us back where we once were underneath the white people. That's just the bottom line.
MAGA.
Okay. Bird?
Oh, I think it'll be Black and brown mainly. You know, I think that's just where we are right now. Those are the ones, unfortunately, highest crime areas, neighborhoods, require the most support from police. You might have to bust ahead to get some order because it's getting rowdy out here. You got teenagers fighting police now, so I don't get it. Bust a couple of their heads open and they'll slow down and know that that's not cool. But, again, you do your job the right way. I need your support. I'll give you my support. You're not doing right by your authority, then you don't get my vote.
Well said. Well said. Mr. Lacey?
Um, I hate to sound like I'm beating the dead horse with this one again, but Since when has that ever been something different? Even when Obama granted qualified immunity to the police,
Because
nothing's
Mr.
changed.
Old Man, you have
Trayvon,
to
all the way
wonder.
up
Yeah,
until
they've been
now.
doing this forever. They've been
All
doing
the
this
way, and
forever.
they've been doing it forever. That's why I said I hate to beat the dead horse, because I
Yeah,
mentioned
this
the
has been
Ku
going
Klux
on the same
Klan
news.
earlier,
They've
and
been
that
getting
whole
over.
case and how it all came from that. It's the same thing. It's like it's insanity. We don't see it going on in front of our eyes, but we want to pinpoint somebody and make them the bad guy. That's crazy.
And they've been killing and violating forever. This isn't new. They've been getting away with it. They've been getting through it. You got to sacrifice a lamb here and there. So that's what they do as well, too. But again, most of it, if it's justified, they're going with it. They'll support it.
So, does anybody else have a rebuttal?
Yeah, I would like to say something to what Gregory said. I agree with what you said, Gregory. But what we might be missing is, although we say this is what's been going on, there are certain departments and states and counties and cities and this and the other that actually try to follow the rules. But then when it becomes open season and everyone starts to react as a whole, we will then truly see the blue wall, because now that brotherhood has to really stand together, and then it's just going to trickle down to every other city and state across the United States,
Well,
because we're going to uprise. Like when
We're
I
going to
say that
uprise.
whole militia, where
Yeah.
no, not what when I'm sorry, not militia, the martial law, that's where this country is about to head to if things if there is no repercussions for cops, yeah, doing their job, but excessively and going overboard with doing their jobs. Because then what we're going to end up having is, I know people are following that case of the father from Ohio.
Hell
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
People are going to start pushing back. And then when you
Exactly. And
start
that may
pushing
put
back
wait,
more
like
on
that's
them.
that,
what I said earlier. I said this is the perfect time to talk about this, but I kind of disagree with you, Sean, because the martial law thing and the police state and the military state. This is something that they talk about. That's why I told you this is fear mongering when you say these things, because these people been saying these things for years. 1999, they was saying all of that was gonna come. Then 2012, they said all of it was gonna come, and now we're back again saying the same thing. The apocalypse, the goddamn martial laws coming, police state.
but here's the
We're
difference.
all gonna have to rise up and fight, and nothing never happens.
But here's the difference. Back then it was talk. Right now, he's actually trying to pass a law that when it does get passed, this is the action that's going to happen. In the past, nobody never tried to pass what he's trying to pass right now.
Yeah, but he can't all the government, the other branches don't have to vote this in.
They
And
don't
regardless
have
of
to.
what he
They
wants to
they
do,
don't
And
have to vote
I
for it.
think y'all might want to fact check if he wants them to have federal immunity or qualified immunity, because when
He
I
wants them
look
to
it up,
have. He
it
wants them
says
to have
qualified.
federal.
It says
Right.
qualified immunity.
Qualified and federal, because with the federal, because what he's going to do is what I stated earlier, is take it out of, he's taking the jurisdiction out of the federal's hands to where federal law will no longer be prosecuting the cops. Every state and city it's going to become a state thing. He's taking that whole jurisdiction out of their hands. That their federal
Well,
prosecutors
the
will
only
not be
thing I got a
prosecuting the
rebuttal
cops.
for that is the body cams thing. Ain't that what we fought for body cams for, and why they got all this surveillance in the streets right now?
But you
So
have the body cams,
you
and
can
then what
be
is
able
that
to
doing
refute
now?
if
But what
something
is that
happens
doing
and
now?
they violate your civil rights.
What is the body cam and what is people's cameras doing now?
I
Um,
would believe it's stopping a lot of people being brutalized by, excuse
You
me,
think so?
by the
Okay.
police.
Okay.
see, let me give some clarity to this. See, you was stumbling over that word brutality because it doesn't even taste right coming out your mouth. It's not even something that sounds right. See, let me educate you, nephew. So everything that you talked about is true. Everything the panel said is true. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But watch, I'm going to show you something. Right now, currently, the only opinion that truly matters is Donald Trump, because he's the one that's putting things in place and he's making things happen. He's not the first, he won't be the last, but he's the one that has been most effective when putting these executive orders into place. He's not asking for permission to do what he's doing. He's doing it. He's using his presidential authority.
He
So
has to get, he has to,
He's showing you what he told you about
let
Joe
me
Biden when he
let me
said
finish.
Joe Biden keeps saying he's gonna do this and that for you people when he can just go in there and sign an
And
order himself. And he's showing you it's
you're
possible
basically
when
you're
y'all were
But
saying that it wasn't possible.
let me finish. Let me finish. So he's doing everything that he said he was going to do, right? But here's the thing that you need to pay attention to most. We're gonna go back to we never left, but they're gonna be above the law once you give them this federal immunity. They're gonna be untouchable. So that means all the profiling, racial profiling, is going to be amplified. They're gonna turn up the fire. Stop.
so he's not getting
And
rid of
that's why
probable
we brought
cause
up
though.
the Ohio dad who
let
just
me
killed the
finish.
police officer because they killed
Let me
his son.
finish.
That's
Let
what's
me
gonna happen.
finish. That. See, we shouldn't be quick to applaud behavior like that, because what's going to happen is that person is going to be the very reason why they're going to turn it up a notch, because now that's going to be their excuse. Even though this man, and everybody's going to say, was justified in doing what he did, they're going to use that as precedents to enforce this federal immunity. They're going to use that as the excuse. So remember, I told you this on May 6th. You watch and see if they don't enhance the efforts to pass this federal immunity executive order through. Just mark my word. But let's not spend too much more time on that question because we got more.
wait, Dave, I just want to say this because somebody made a mention about Trump doing executive orders that Biden that he said Biden could do, but he couldn't do it. A lot of the executive orders that Trump is signing and trying to push through go against the Constitution, which means it's illegal, and it's a lot of court cases that he's being sued to stop it. So you can't just push all these executive orders through. A lot of the stuff has to go through Congress, which he is trying to overstep by doing the executive orders.
Yes.
All right,
He
so
can try all he wants, but he cannot just step over government law. He can want whatever he wants.
That's a good segue. Ladies, turn your mic on. Tanya, I'm gonna start with you. Do you think this new executive order will cause the people of the land to rebel against the law? Tanya?
They are. What do you mean rebel against the law? Rebel against the qualified immunity?
Rebel against the law in general.
The people are already rebelling against everything that he's doing by protesting.
Okay. What do you say, Patsy?
Yeah, there's a lot of people out there already rebelling against the law, but this is going to increase people that want to rebel. They're gonna it's gonna be 10 times fold with the rebelliousness, So yeah.
Okay. Duchess, what do you say?
Do you mind repeating the question?
Will this new executive order cause the people of the land to rebel?
Uh, the people are already rebelling, and as someone else previously, as I think it was Tanya who said that a lot of these orders are being fought through in court because they're not technically legal. They're unconstitutional, and the reason why it's not getting the pushback that it should is because a lot of Congress and the House of Representatives aren't really doing their damn job of putting actual laws in place to, well, there's already laws in place, but make them stronger by maybe adding amendments to so that what we see as lawlessness could cease.
Okay. Bert, what do you say?
I think it will end up being, we might mess around and be some eye for an eye. You hurt me, I might hurt you back, and maybe they'll force some of these unjust officers to do better when the people stand up for themselves. And they fight against what's wrong, and they fight against the unlawfulness of our authorities. So let's just hope. I mean, I think the people are gonna rise, like Sean said.
Okay. Robert?
I agree with everyone else.
Timmy, what's your views?
I already told you it's gonna be a civil war.
Gregory?
Once again, I believe this is fear mongering, but if they try it, anybody that's doing some bullshit, the same thing that happened in Ohio is going to end up happening in every state. And that is something that people are leading on to because they believe that the police are going to start killing people. So we got to be prepared for that now. You see what I'm saying? You're putting it in the atmosphere. It's fear mongering.
I mean, but aren't the police killing people? I mean, that is what has
This
happened.
isn't a
It's
new
not like
concept. That's not a new concept. It's been happening forever. And even marching in the streets and rallying, not a new concept. It's been happening. But it's insanity. Once again, like I said earlier.
Problem is that there is a whole party that's acquiescing to Trump and not holding him accountable for the stuff that he's doing. That they know that it's against the Constitution. You got some of them coming out saying actually in their town halls that they're actually afraid to stand up against to stand and to stand up to him about what he's doing that's wrong.
Are you talking about Elizabeth Warren and them? They
No,
should be
I'm not
going to
talking about
jail.
Elizabeth Warren.
The people that's trying to stand against the law that's being played, you gotta go to jail. Get out of here. Go to a different country. If it's so bad here, get the hell out.
All right, let's get Sean's perspective.
Word, get out.
I'm sorry, the original question again. I haven't answered, but
No worries.
I want to know.
The question is, will this new executive law cause the people of the land to rebel against the law?
It will cause some to react. They're definitely going to push back to however it is that they're being treated. Because we're looking at it as though it's the cops just going around and just freewheeling, killing this, that, and the other. What all this is also is opening up the doors to bring back all that stop and frisk, like outright. Like we will have no the goal is to give the cops the complete authority to do whatever it is that they see fit that's going to control any situation, whether something is happening or not.
Okay. So I'm gonna answer this. will the people rebel against the law? I think they will. But what you guys got to understand is that you plan to rebel against already has the backing of the law, the judicial system, the police force, which they are. So anything that they do to you is going to be far more worse than what you can do to them. And if they kill you or kill members of your family and of your community, they are going to have federal immunity. They're shielded from it already. So again, what happens when you make them untouchable? They're going to be able to touch you and everything that you love. Just keep that in mind, because I'm gonna paint y'all this little picture. Gregory, you keep referring to this is nothing new, this is old. I'm gonna take you far as back to slavery, overseer. Remember, those were the first police. And you see how that turned out.
Well, I
That,
hate to keep beating it. I said that earlier. Big Dog Patrol. They
okay?
they come
So
from the Ku Klux
so
Klan.
keep that,
Overseers. Same people.
how
Same thing.
bad, keep how bad that was in mind for the people of that time. Let's move on to the next question. Ladies, turn your mic on. Kiana, I'm gonna start with you. Will this negative public opinion force police officers to reconsider their career choices as well as the option of early retirement? What do you say?
I mean, those who want to do their job respectfully and within the law, I don't think it will. And those who want to ride out like cowboys and cowgirls, they're going to ride that till their wheels fall off.
Yeah, I agree. They're cops that are really, truly wanting to
Meeting.
uphold the law and do their job correctly, within their control. They will uphold it. And those that wanna be a bunch of screw ups and idiots, well, that's what they're gonna do.
Tanya,
Repeat the question, please.
will negative public opinion force the police officers to reconsider their career choices as well as the option of early retirement?
Negative public opinion on what? The immunity, qualified immunity, or federal immunity?
All of the above and everything that they've been accused of thus far.
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna have to kind of agree. Those who want to do their job and protect their community and their people will want to stay in the position, and those who are up to no good is gonna think that it's a free for all. They're gonna keep doing what they're doing.
All right. Gentlemen, turn your mics on. Timmy, we're going to go to you first. Will negative public opinion force police officers to reconsider their career choices as well as the option of early retirement?
I'm agree with Tanya, but here's the thing. Also, they've been fighting to improve their image. Some police departments across the country has improved their relationship with the community. Those who haven't improved their relationship, those are the ones who going to be, like Tanya said, a free fall. But the like I said before, the ones who wants to make it where they doing their job and doing it for the rights of people and upholding the law, those people are going to join coalitions to fight against those who wants to turn it back into the Jim Crow days and Ku Klux Klan days.
Well said, well said. Gregory, let's get your point of view.
Now, let me have the question again, big dog.
Will negative public opinion force police officers to reconsider their career choices as well as the option of early retirement?
I'm gonna say no because they're not reconsidering their career choices right now. Like, if you watch the video of the Ohio man, the police know that one of their police officers killed this man's son, but they're in the courthouse grilling him down as he walks by them, like, "Oh, you're gonna get it, nigga." They look crazy. So once again, when you got something so deeply rooted from anything racial, like the Constitution or the police system, you need to redo these systems. It needs to be a fair start because somewhere along the lines it was tainted already. It's a messy, slimy swamp that continued to go on, and people just keep fighting for their rights for this, fight for the rights for that, knowing that this shit is tainted. The whole system's been corrupt. I don't know why the hell we're gonna act like it's one man doing this shit now. This is nuts.
Robert?
Yeah, I'm gonna say you're gonna have some FCS shit going on. And that F is gonna be you're gonna have the fair police that stay there and do the job the correct way, the right and fair way. Then you're gonna have the corrupt officers that gets a high off of harassing, arresting, shooting, and killing people. Then you're gonna have the scare that represent that S, that these officers is gonna reconsider their job because they're gonna be thinking if they're out here being part of that corrupt and confused fair game that's supposed to be in the police station, their families gonna be put in danger. Cause if it's gonna be chaos and they're gonna be killing police officers, they're gonna be definitely going up to their families' homes and taking their lives more than they want to do now.
Better believe it.
Well said, well said. Sean, let's get your perspective.
No, I'm gonna have to agree with I like what everybody on the panel said, but with the ladies when they said those that really want to be policemen and want to do the job and and hold up to the standard that they took the oath for, I think those people will still try to do the right thing. And then of course, you may still have some of your cowboys and cowgirls, as Sister K said, but I don't think it's gonna deter anyone from either to not want to be cops or force them into early retirement. I mean, the only way they go into early retirement is if it does get crazy on their end and the public reacts crazily, then yeah.
But if you love your job, you love your community and you want to see the community do better and you want to protect the community so they can do better.
That's why you
So
got to start hiring police
that's why
officers from the community. These motherfuckers ain't from your community. They can get, they don't care. They're coming from the suburbs. They're gonna come there. They're gonna shoot you. You in the ghetto. Goodbye.
they going off of the stigma that stigma that's been placed in the black communities. That's what they're going off of. So you get these white cops that come in, they gun ho, they want to be in the hood because we're gonna show these little badass that we run the street, not them, until they some of them they get their head blown off, then they want to, you know, go against the community, and now the whole community is at threat because you've seen it already with the Stewart case, where he said one thing and they went ballistic and started terrorizing Mission Hill. And then to come to find, and they didn't apologize to none of these families. None of these families that they broke in their houses, kicked their doors in, harassing people. Even the William dude that they pent the shit on, he got paid from the state because they wrongfully accused him. But he spent a lot of time in jail before someone stepped up and said, hey, that wasn't right. He wasn't the person, and they fought to get him out, and he had a civil case against the state.
Okay.
So they don't want that type of stigma to be put on their back where they paying out a bunch of money to people for wrongful deaths and wrongful convictions and stuff like that.
All right, we're going to go to question number 6. Ladies, turn your mics on. Tanya, I'm going to come to you first. Is federal immunity a representation of Donald Trump's plan for police reform?
I'm going to say, yes, it is, because it's going to have more people wanting to, more of the wrong kind of people wanting to be police officers, and the ones that are in there that's good cops, they're going to try to pressure them out. And that's part of his plan. He wants everybody who agrees with him to be in places of authority.
Okay. Patsy?
I agree with Tanya.
Duchess? Is federal immunity a representation of Donald Trump's plan for police reform?
No, it's not a reform. He just wants it to be make America great again, quote unquote.
Yep. Very good, Kay.
And that's why I said he wants everybody that agree with him in authoritative positions. That is the way that he can bring in the fascism.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right, gentlemen, let's get your perspective. Robert, is federal immunity for police officers Donald Trump's representation of police reform?
No, he just lining up some things, putting dots on I's, crossing his T's. When he needs to reveal what is really going on, put it out in front of you guys' eyes and ears, then he just, like Tony says, putting the people in places. So he needs to utilize them in that area. He's gonna pull from it, and he got something planned. I mean, we saying he's gonna take us back in time and time and time, and ain't just taking us back in time. He got something else on his mind.
Gregory?
Once again, this is fear mongering, and you're fear mongering. I just can't agree with any of it. It's not realistic. All the stuff's been happening already, anyways. For somebody to say it, And once again, I don't know if he said federal immunity or qualified immunity. Once again, somebody needs to look into that.
Anybody that's crooked like he is, he wants to be immunity. You know, like he wanted immunity. But he can't get rid of that damn that federal
I mean, the things that we pay attention to that are silly
he
and the things
can't
that
get
we
rid
should
of
pay
that
attention to. You
sexual
know who they
charge
gave
that he got
immunity?
charged with.
They gave Dr. Fauci immunity for any humanitarian crimes that he committed against the world with this COVID stuff that they let sneak in. You missed that part. And you know who gave it to him? Joe Biden. But you're mad about Trump talking about some type of immunity that police already have. They already have immunity.
Okay.
You can't
Sean,
handle it.
let's get your perspective.
I don't think his way of doing the police reform is more or less having the federal government um, back the police as far as, you know, giving them better pay. This is it. These are his words. Police reform to him is anything that's in favor for the police and not necessarily the public.
Okay. All right, guys. This show, like all the other shows, is sponsored by EmporiumPlus.org. Robert, can you tell all our viewers what and where they can purchase items with Emporium Plus, signature on it, and other name brands that reside in the store?
I think you people would like to go over to emporiumplus.org and find yourself a design called The Verdict. Donald Trump is going to come slamming down on you. You need to go over to emporiumplus.org. Purchase in all fashions and be forever. You, sir, still a man. Adoptive Parish. SOS support our sisters and Adoptive Parish ladies first. You can also find merch in emporiumplus.org. Also, for you viewers, please, if you haven't already subscribed, subscribe, hit the like button, tell a friend, tell a family member. And it's okay if you still sneak and watch and whisper.
All right, we're gonna move on to question number 7. Ladies, turn your mic on. Tanya, we're gonna come to you first. According to research, Donald Trump wants to protect good cops from frivolous lawsuits. But if you are a bad cop, you shall be prosecuted. Tanya, do you agree or disagree? Or do you believe him? That's what it amounts to.
What do I believe him? According to Donald Trump, good people who are doing phenomenal jobs cut federal government programs, keep giving government contracts to his billionaire friends. He thinks that RAs, sex offenders, financial thieves, everybody that's around him are crooked. That's who he thinks is good. So if I go by that analogy, he's gonna think that the good cops are the bad cops, and so he's gonna give them immunity and think that the bad cops are the good cops and give them immunity and think that the good cops are the bad cops, and he'll prosecute them. So
Mm,
That's my take.
okay. Patsy, what do you say?
I pretty much was then gonna say the same thing Tanya just said about Donald Trump thinks that the bad cops are good cops and the good cops are bad cops. He got it all twisted because he got a twisted ass mind.
Mm.
Duchess?
Yeah. I, um, he doesn't care about what is exactly the question?
According to research,
Of course.
Donald Trump
Mhm.
wants to protect good cops from frivolous lawsuits, and anybody that is a bad cop shall be prosecuted.
No, because if you were a good cop doing your job, you wouldn't have anything to hide behind it. Your camera wouldn't suddenly go off or never come on or all the other discrepancies that happen. So you wouldn't need that quote unquote immunity if you were uh doing your job correctly. I mean, of course, things happen where you have to use deadly force, but you know, with no thought or just coming in and saying, I'm gonna kill you, shoot you right in the face, you're not a good cop. So no, he doesn't care about the good cops versus the bad cops. It's a bunch of bull.
Okay. Gentlemen, let's get your perspective. According to research, Donald Trump wants to protect good cops from frivolous lawsuits, and bad cops shall be prosecuted. Timmy, do you agree or disagree?
Well, it's just like he think about the soldiers. Good cops are suckers, and bad cops are uh, law-abiding citizens. They fight for justice, and they out to protect and serve.
Okay. Gregory?
Um, and to all those people out there that was making it seem like he was focused on something else, and then he said that, and I quote, innocent until proven guilty, like everybody else like to believe. Everybody want to judge this man and say that, oh no, he doesn't believe that. How do you know he doesn't believe that? And he said it. You just gonna just say he don't believe it? Craziness. And once again, I've never seen so many people hate the person that's running their country so out loud and want the other countries to hate them too. And it's just nuts. It's a crazy cycle. Some sore loser shit.
Okay. Robert, let's get your perspective.
Donald Trump. Listen, look at his character. Do he want anything less than his demeanor, his personality, his persona that he portrays to be a law enforcement? If you show any signs of weakness to the people and you're not an asshole or a rude person, then he don't think you're qualified to get the job done. He want to duplicate many Donald Trumps around the world doing all type of jobs because no one can do it better than him.
Sean, what do you say?
Um, I believe what the statistics says. Um, I believe that he believes what he says, but who's going to be the one judging who's the good cops and who's the bad cops?
Hmm.
See, this whole thing, there's a big picture to all of this. All this stuff works hand in hand. You got to look at what the Republicans, what offices they all hold. So if they control everything and they're trying to appease him, 'cause I mean, look at some of the things that are happening right now before anything has even passed. He's making suggestions on stuff and things are happening already in his favor as far as certain uh, cases that are going on. If what I said made any sense to anybody.
Great sense. All right, let's go to question number 8. Ladies, turn your mic on. I'm gonna go to you first. Tanya, you're up first. Question number 8. Will this executive order somehow commute the sentences of the murderers that masquerade as police officers?
That's his ultimate goal. That's what he's trying to do. Just like they was trying to ask for what's his name, Chauvin to be pardoned. This is his way of getting around that, so it doesn't look bad on his part. He's already got the people in the uproar. That would just make it even worse. He pardoned the January 6th. Now he's all the progress that has been made to benefit the minority people, where we can feel like there's some justice and people are being held accountable, he's trying to take away. That's like the quality. Yeah. So basically those officers and things who got arrested based on going to court and got their just desserts that they were supposed to get.
Mm-hmm.
Him doing that immunity deal is to then go back and say that they was falsely prosecuted and they need to be let out.
Can I say this? Where was that type of outrage when Obama did that after Trayvon Martin? He gave the police, they did a whole Blue Lives Matter thing, and it was all Obama. Nobody was outraged. That little boy got killed for stealing a pack of Skittles.
Allegedly.
He didn't steal anything. He went to the store and bought that stuff. What are you talking about? He stole.
Well, that was the reason that they tried to say that he got shot.
No,
because he stole.
He got shot because the dude who was told to stay in his car thought he was vigilante justice. He thought because he was the neighborhood watch, go around watching people and putting his hands on people.
I get what you're saying, but either which way, I'm saying right after that, Obama did the whole Blue Lives Matter thing and granted police immunity, and we wasn't all mad at Obama because he gave the police immunity.
But I'm not understanding how that even goes together. The Trayvon Martin and the how do those even go together? Because the police had nothing to do with Trayvon Martin.
It was neighborhood watch, right? He got a police radio call.
When your community watches the neighborhood, and then
he had a police radio. He had the police radio. He was patrolling the area, right?
He didn't know.
He wasn't. So how did he end up seeing a boy and shooting him then? If he wasn't patrolling the area like he was a cop.
This is the problem. You don't have all the information. You've been hearing what people have told you, and you need to actually watch
that's what I'm trying to
case.
Yeah,
happened.
Trying to understand how that even goes together.
It doesn't.
He was a neighborhood watch person, but he was.
What did he get off for? Tell me what he got off for. A citizen's arrest as a police officer, right? A citizen's arrest.
He's first of all, he's never.
Hello.
So he didn't beat that case.
Citizen's arrest doesn't make you the same as police, though.
So what does the police do? They arrest citizens.
So let
Damn
me
near the same thing. You don't want it to be the
No,
same,
it's
but it's the
not.
same thing.
listen. Let's bring
Same
it
thing.
back.
And it's all
Bring it,
a Freemason thing if you really get deep into it. So
let's
it's
bring it
kind of
back.
Listen,
Let's bring it
and
back
the
to
two to do with each other.
let's bring it back to what we're talking about. The question at hand. I'm gonna ask you, Kiana. So the question is, will this executive order somehow commute the sentences of the murderers that masquerade as police officers? What do you
I
say?
mean, if it's written and passed the way that it might go retroactive, perhaps. I mean, I believe that that is the formidable future of where this is going. You know, a right to a left, to a left, to a right. That I think that that is what the bigger picture would be. Is there and for them to get off, because apparently you can be on videotape and do stuff and you get off on it. So that means absolutely nothing. Well,
Patsy?
I agree. Like, it's gonna go a bit sideways, and cops that in the past have actually killed for no reason and murdered, essentially, are going to get off, and the futuristic of that what Trump is trying to do is gonna set us back over 50 years.
Timmy,
Yep.
will this executive order somehow commute the sentences of the murderers that masquerade as police officers? So, in layman's terms, will this lead to them overturning the sentences of the individuals that killed people in the line of duty, so-called duty?
Robert Brewington has left the meeting.
No. No. I don't think he's gonna, if he's so big on killers that's harming people, I don't think he would go to that extreme. But you never know with
Robert Brewington has joined the meeting.
unstable person. He got frontal dementia.
Hmm. All right. Sean, what do you say?
Um, I'm sorry. Repeat the question. I want to answer this correctly. Sorry.
Okay. Um, will this executive order somehow commute the sentences of the murderers that masquerade as police officers?
I don't want to say it will commute the sentences of those individuals. I will say that I think he would like to use this as opposed to just flat out giving them pardons.
Hmm. Hmm.
Because at least he can say that he did the pardons, he has complete authority to do so. But I think what he'll do is he'll use the question that you just asked. He will use that as a way of saying that the government branch authorized this action that I'm doing.
Gregory, I'm gonna give you a chance to answer this question.
I would like to believe so in the wake of this Ohio thing and the way black people are supposedly so fired up, even though this has been happening in multiple cases from Trayvon down to Sandra, down to Eric, down to the last guy. But black people have this fake outrage thing, and they never stand on the business that they be mad about. I would hope so. Now that they can see what's going on and they're so mad about him giving them immunity, they would stand behind this case that just happened where everybody's saying it was injustice and everybody should be behind it right now since everybody's so worried about police getting immunity. This dude's basically about to walk right now after he shot this little boy in the back and he wasn't even doing nothing. He basically was fleeing the scene. This is a cop that doesn't know how to do his job. Once again, a system that's broken, we should have broke it all the way and restarted it. It's apparent that these cops need some type of training where they can actually be police officers, not people that got guns and are scared and might shoot some motherfucker because they're running by.
Okay. All right. Let's go to question number 9. This is a good one. Duchess, turn your mic on. Patty, turn your mic on. Kiana, I'm going to come to you first. Question number 9. Is Donald Trump's executive order a scheme to weaponize the police force so that he can enforce his own version of the law?
His own version of the law. I mean, he wants to be a dictator or a king, so he wants to be able to weaponize with all the confusion in the executive orders. He wants to be able to use the police, the military against the people who don't go with his plan, who aren't hailing the king and who disagree and talk bad about him, even though, contrary to belief, he's not the first president that people didn't like. People didn't like Reagan. People didn't like Bush. So, and were very outspoken about both. So, he apparently thinks that he is Putin or Keen John Woo. I forget the China's president, whatever his name is. So that's who he wants to be. So I wouldn't put it past him of using them as his tool.
No, no, Keanu, you got it wrong. Kim Jong, he had a romantic letter. That's his honey. They had romantic, sweet nothing in the letter that Kim Jong wrote him. Beijing is the China, the president of China that he said, oh, China brought the damn COVID over, but he got bank accounts over there in China. And most of his products, his sneakers, his goddamn watch that cost $100,000, fake shit, all that shit was made in China.
Russia and North Korea is the presidents that you're referring to, Kiana.
Well, I know Russia. I couldn't. North Korea. Thank you very much.
Kim Jong. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with Keanu. Then he's trying to make it to the point where this is going according to his way and the highway, and he does want to be a dictator like Hitler was. And I'm quite sure in this head, he's hearing people saying, instead of saying hi Hitler, we're all saying hi Trump. He's ridiculous. He's got a sick mind.
Okay. Robert?
I'm going to say real quick, I told you he would like a lot of mini me's, a lot of Trumps. If he can clone them, he will clone them. If he can do a whole bunch of AI, he's going to do that. If he cannot program and corrupt the human's brain to do as he need and says, he will probably make robots.
Timmy?
What's the question?
Is Donald Trump's executive order a scheme to weaponize the police force so that he can enforce his own version of the law?
I don't. Yeah, he just wants people to do as he wants them to do, whether is corrupt or whatever. But I don't believe nothing that he said because he say a lot of things and people just go run with the nonsense that he spews like that's something big, but a lot of stuff he can't get done unless he gets shit bold, to get done. Now the things that he's doing is gonna catch up with him eventually. He ain't all the stuff that he's doing is not gonna go away. And making it ain't it's not boosting his damn um his rating as far as people liking him. The people his rating is lower. He done broke his own goddamn record as far as his approval rating. It broke his rating from 2016 to 2020.
Okay. Gregory, same question.
What was the question again, Big Dope?
Is Donald Trump's executive order a scheme to weaponize the police force so that he can enforce his own version of the law?
Perhaps in a movie, but once again, in the real world, this is fear mongering, and it's not gonna happen. It's too many people that are gonna stand up.
John?
I'm gonna agree with Gregory on the last part. I think a lot of things that he wants to do won't come to pass because I think that the people will stand up to it, and I think the executive branches will eventually, at some point, have to realize that they have to be accountable for their constituents and not necessarily upholding to him completely. Um, but he's definitely on the path of trying to go down in history as some type of a king.
So, just so you guys know, this episode is the brainchild of both Sean and Robert. I'm going to give them credit for it because Robert presented a question to Sean, and Sean's reply sparked uh, the planning for this topic. So, that being said, question number 10, Robert, this is for you. And we are going to start with Robert. And guys, we're getting close to the end, so please keep your answers 60 seconds or less. Let's get the miniskirt versions of these answers, basically. Robert, question number 10. Does the president have the authority to arrest a federal judge? And if so, does Judge Dugan's arrest serve as an example to all of those that dare to oppose the authority of the president?
Well, that president of the U.S., he must have got a rude awakening. If I'm standing correct, I don't think that judge is in jail. And I don't think she did anything to incriminate her other than standing her ground as a judge, stating she was not going to tolerate none of that foolery or nonsense or BS in her courtroom. If they want to do such, do it on the outside of her doors.
Patsy, same question.
Yeah, I don't think a president has the right to do such a thing to arrest a sitting judge. If you're doing something and the judge tells you that you're in contempt of court and then you continue on what you're doing, you will be arrested as the defendant or whoever you are in the courtroom. Then guess what? You're the one that's going to be arrested and not that judge because you're being in contempt in that judge's courtroom.
Okay. Timmy, what do you say?
They didn't arrest her. All they did was obtain her. They detained her. That's all. They didn't arrest her. They detained her. And all that was supposed to put bed. That didn't do nothing. He got I guarantee you he got a fucking airful, which they're not gonna keep tolerating disobedience from him.
Okay. Gregory, what do you say?
I don't know about the Dugon person, but I know about the Fannie Willis thing. And if she was anything like her, um, I can see why she's going to jail under Donald Trump's authority. This is a person that was trying to arrest him. Get what I'm saying? So, and like he said, a lot of those people were crooked. Why wouldn't we believe what he said if these people are catching cases now? Just because you don't like him, so he got to be wrong, right?
Huh?
No, you ain't
Kiana, question 10. Does the president have the authority to arrest a federal judge? And if so, does Judge Dugan's arrest serve as an example to all of those that dare to oppose the president's authority?
No, he doesn't have the right to arrest a judge. Did he do it as a scare tactic? Probably. And if any judge worth their salt should be utterly disgusted by such display of disregard for the judicial system, that they should firmly stand their ground, because the display disgustingness is rampant.
John, what do you say?
I'm with Kiana. No, the president does not have the authority to arrest a judge of any status. They are they are a separate branch altogether. They they have the authorities over themselves. And what was the last part of that question? That was her arrest an example? I think he did try to put it out there. Like again, like Kiana said, everything that he's doing is just trying to put a whole bunch of stuff out there to make it seem like he has this type of authority. And he has no problems with just saying what he wants to say, trying to do what he wants to do, and it's up to the people to shut it all down.
Question number 11. If the America's self-proclaimed king is fortifying his personal army, who shall police the lawless? Patsy?
We all will suffer the loss, regardless of whether or not we voted for him. And just because you voted for him and got him in there does not mean he's truly with you. Because he's not with anyone but Donald Trump.
Okay. Patsy, thank you for your participation. Robert, let's get your perspective.
I'm going based on Patsy's answer. I'm gonna agree and say Donald Trump. He got his plan, and is only to make Donald Trump and his millionaires more wealthier than a little bit. So he's not for the people that voted him in, and he's definitely not for the people that did not vote him in.
Okay. Thank you for your participation. Gregory?
It is May, right? We're in the 5th month. And who is the self-proclaimed king? In a fairy tale land. You know what? You know what I hear, Uncle D? I hear a whole bunch of liberal tears. When stop crying. Y'all lost. It's over. Let that man do his job. Back off.
Okay. Thank you for your participation. Timmy, if the America's self-proclaimed king is fortifying his personal army, who shall police the lawless?
That's why you got branches. He ain't getting away with none of the stuff that you talking about.
Robert
None of
Washington has left the meeting.
None of it.
Okay. Thank you for your participation. Kiana, what do you say, Duchess?
Well, I mean, if the person who thinks that they are someone's king, which he's not, we don't have kings over here, except in our homes. That's the only kings that we have. But anyways, it'll be lawlessness. Again, this is why we have 3 branches of government, so that no branch overtakes the other 2 branches. And constitutional wise, people need to do their job. You don't hold any, you don't bow your knee to anyone who tells you to get on your knees unless you want to be on your knees. So, apparently, according to him, we will have no lawlessness. We will have no one to uphold the laws, just making laws as you go and doing whatever you want to do. So a lawless land, back to the wild, wild west. And the rich want to get richer, and they want to keep the poor poorer, and they want to criminalize people for being poor so that they could get rich, even richer.
Okay. Thank you for your participation. All right, Sean, it's on you, good brother. You're going to take us home. If the America's self-proclaimed king is fortifying his army, who shall police the lawless?
Well, the self-proclaimed king is trying to fortify his army, but like the panel said, um, the the government branches and the people will not go for it. And as far as policing them, there's not going to be anything to police. It's just going to have to everything that he does and try to do that's unconstitutional in court, we shall go. And that's the only way that it seems like he's going to be controlled, and that's what he wants.
Okay. This has been the Still a Man podcast. Thank you guys. See you next week. God bless you.